Hi, welcome to How to Fail, the show where we promise not to make any Wingardium Leviosa jokes.
You say promise, but inevitably will within about 6 minutes into the game.
No, I've made a blood oath. We're not allowed to make any Wingardium Leviosa jokes, otherwise my dick falls off. I don't like that I've given you that power. Anyway, we're playing Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Press start, please.
Okay. No, you can't tell me what to do.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait, I was joking. How are we going to say we have to stop in a bit?
It's fine. We're going to play this all in one go, aren't we?
We're going to save. We're going to have to turn it off for a bit.
There's save points.
We planned to turn it off. There's no created save file now.
We can start. We can start.
We can't. Fine. We can't.
Fine. I'll quit the game then.
No,
fine.
I'll quit the game.
Ugh.
We planned all this in advance.
I mean, I'm just saying, most capable games allow you to save at any point where you want to.
Yeah, they allow you to save after you've created the initial save file.
I'm sorry, but most games you can just save whenever you want. There's no save file needed to create it.
Yes, you create the save file, and then that lets you save the game after that.
Just for Harry Potter.
No, for all games.
No, it doesn't.
At the beginning, when it says, would you like to create a save file? It said, oh, would you like to continue without saving? That means it's not going to save the game, because you didn't create the save file.
You can legitimately do it. I promise you can legitimately do it.
I'm going to need to see scientific evidence of this.
I mean, to be honest, there's nothing scientific about this game whatsoever. It's 20 years old at this point.
We could break it down.
And
I'm going to get this published in a
Yes, I would like to create one.
Create a Harry Potter save block.
But hello, welcome to How Not to Save.
Hi, welcome
I'm
to How
Anthony.
to Fail, the show where the... Yeah, see, now you get to choose a save file. You've had to go without saving. Hi, welcome to How to Fail, the show where we show you how to create a save file.
And that is all.
I'm always terrified that someone's going to think that I legitimately call them these because they're instructional.
I mean, How to Basics created a lifestyle based on not doing what they've advertised for about 15 years now, so I think we're okay.
Hey, that Krabby Patty legitimately works. I mean, my oven doesn't anymore, but the Krabby Patty recipe did.
Nor does your digestive system, but apart from that, it's fine.
Yeah, I just pass it straight through now. I have to eat in the toilet. So thanks, How To Basic, for destroying my body.
So, the worrying thing is, they take quite good likenesses, well, I say quite good likenesses of the Dursleys for the sake of the intro, and then they fail for every other single character during this game.
Well, to be fair, I mean, this did, come out before the movies. This was in production while the movies were being made, so they didn't, know how everyone was going to look. I feel like a lot of the connections are because, I mean, that's pretty close. But a lot of the stuff they would have had to have, come up with the top of the head, the fact that his sweatshirt's clearly visible. So he's not wearing school uniform, so that's already 5 points from Gryffindor.
Well, if you're sure, better be...
What do you look
Hufflepuff! Oh, never mind.
It would have been a very different movie. Just Harry Potter just kind of hanging out with Cedric Diggory for 7 movies. He passes his exams, goes on to graduate. It basically would have just been a normal school year.
That's a 50 Shades of Grey thing waiting to happen right there. 50 Shades of Wingardium Leviosa. Told you about 6 minutes in.
I told you not to!
I did a joke.
Speaking of a joke.
I like to imagine just a cloud with glasses, personally.
Those are glasses? I thought they were his eyebrows, and I was confused as to why they kept clipping through his face.
Just a nice condensed version of what we'd hear in the actual movie. But I like going back to talk to him.
Nitwit, blubber, oddment, tweak. 4 wonderful words, don't you think?
No. Right,
I think it's time to call the Whitecoats.
Portrait room. This is where Fluffy is, right? Spoilers, there's a dog in the film.
We're just gonna go straight to the forbidden corridor.
And get eaten.
It would be a very different movie.
I mean, at least, compared to the video of Hermione killing him on the train, at least we've got to Hogwarts this game, so,
There's 1,000 different ways that Harry Potter could have ended before it began. And they chose to take none of them.
I mean, the most obvious way is J.K. Rowling's transphobia emerging before writing the actual books. That would probably have killed it quite quickly, I'm not going to lie. And then Harry and all of his friends didn't go to Hogwarts.
I'm just saying I don't like transsexuals. Cancelled before the books even came. Well, this came out in the 80s, so that probably wouldn't have been as controversial back then.
So let's compare Harry's face to these rather odd creatures. I mean, they say Weasley, they just look more like weasels. So they've got the same snout definition, the same claws.
You think that's how the video game designers thought? It's like, these characters are called Weasley. I haven't read the fucking book. They're like weasels. This is basically like Wine Witch the Wardrobe, right?
Let's just have a look at one, and then if it's not providing any good commentary, let's not after this. That's a good compromise, I think.
I feel like the fact that it requires a loading screen is a good sign that we should probably not look at these cards from now on.
And also the original transphobe before J.K. Rowling.
He was very insistent that gender reassignment spells would be banned from all schools. It was widely accepted at the time, but we kind of understand now it's not cool.
You see J.K. Rowling, she hating amongst all the trans people that are on Twitter.
See, we promised no Wingardium Leviosa jokes except for that one, but we said nothing about not making J.K. Rowling jokes.
To be honest, it's Chamillionaire. I think we can utterly forgive that. No, that's definitely not an in-book case, that's just a standard bookcase. There we go. Oh, back to weasels.
Remember me? Ron Weasley?
No, you haven't been introduced yet.
That slimy Slytherin Draco Malfoy ran through this door with an owl under his arm. I think it was your owl Hedwig. Let's go after him.
I mean, can we, go to the nurse, get your face fixed first?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If Ron's face was like that on the train, I wouldn't have started talking to him.
Oh, yeah, I seem to be in the wrong carriage. Pardon me.
Can I have a seat in here, please? Yeah, sure you can. Actually, I'm okay, thank you. Let me go and start an adventure with, I don't know, Hannah Abbott instead. Lovely.
Finally, my time to shine.
One of the forgotten faces of Harry Potter.
Outside of my fanfiction, where she has been fully characterized as a complete bitch.
You know, based on how porn works, there's much more out there than just your fanfiction of including her in the narrative out there.
Oh, absolutely. There's probably an entire gallery dedicated to that entire character, Hannah Abbott.
I mean, to be honest, I'm just looking forward to some serious Dobby images.
You'll find them.
There's Dobby, and there's his Nobby. Ha ha ha. I mean, I don't know if he's got genitalia, so your guess is as good as mine. For the sake of argument, I just like to imagine he does.
On DeviantArt, I guarantee Nobby is drawn with a full Nobby.
So, here's a lovely picture right here of Winston Churchill, that well-known wizard from back in the day.
Yep, suddenly creative fan art of Hannah Abbott.
There we go.
First picture.
And she doesn't have her tits out. Everyone wins.
Look, this is everybody's design to Hannah Abbott.
Okay, she's developing more of a cleavage as we go on. This is a lot more standard.
Look,
of the
this is
internet.
Hannah Abbott and Neville Longbottom.
Were they a thing?
She is now.
Welcome to the narrative, Hannah.
There is a lot of these of Hannah Abbott and Neville Longbottom. People have just decided that this is canon now.
You see, at least, getting off with 7th year Neville is forgivable. If that was, 2nd year, you'd just be like, nah, mate.
So long as it's 7th year Hannah Abbott. I don't think I'd agree with 7th year Neville Longbottom and 1st year Hannah Abbott. That would be very different.
Because I'm not trying to do the whole ugly duckling thing, but let's just say that Matthew Lewis, who played Neville, is definitely someone that has gotten better looking as time's gone on. And as some of the childhood actors will prove, that hasn't happened to all of them.
Yeah, you do have to look at that man's abs and think to yourself, yeah, that seems like it's the chosen one. Where's your abs, Harry?
I mean, to be fair, Daniel Radcliffe, he's still pretty good looking. Emma Watson, I think, has definitely bloomed. And Rupert Grint is still there. So, and...
What happened to Rupert Grint?
And there's another well-known picture of a well-known wizard, that's Basil Fawlty. He's also got his own Folio Magie. Come on!
I wasn't a big fan of cosplaying as him because his wand is just a giant tree branch.
Ah. Right. Gonna make this jump. So, I'd kind of forgotten in this game that you're kind of balancing Harry Potter with Mirror's Edge. You're really going to have to learn parkour at the stage. So, you've got Louis XIV, Lily Savage, all these well-known witches and wizards throughout time. Stay on the bloody platform!
Look, we need to get out of this frickin' hall. I don't know why the students are around here. This is an accident waiting to happen.
It just feels like... Stop jumping unnecessarily, Harry! You're scaring me! It'd be pretty awkward if we died before even meeting Voldemort.
Who made this gallery? Right, I'm trying to look up all the cards. It just keeps giving me alphabetical order. This doesn't help me. Ah, fuck it, we're not getting the cards.
Like, I know some of the mini games in this are absolutely atrocious ahead of time. The thing is, people often mock the PS1 versions of the games, especially because you had Chamber of Secrets following this, which arguably is worse than Philosopher's Stone. I was pressing square and it's X for Flipendo, sorry. But one thing that the PS1 and PS2 versions both share is Flipendo, that well-known non-existent spell from the Harry Potter universe.
Well, she didn't write in Stupefy yet, so they had no idea what the knockback jinx should be.
Stupefy was in the first book.
I don't think it was.
I think it was.
I'm looking this up.
I'm sure it's like a basic sort of like dueling spell.
Stupefy spell. It was like during the duel in Chamber of Secrets. I don't think they said Stupefy. They had like a whole bunch of other random spells that we never see again.
Again, that well-known species of animal from the Harry Potter universe, poisonous snails.
We've got Nifflers, we've got hippogriffs, we've got crabblebacks, poisonous snails. Do you think that Newt Scamander was just on an off day when he came up with that one? What should I call this one? I'm really tired.
Well, we've already called one Blast-Ended Scroot. We can't have another one. And that's just the nickname for Ron.
His thoughts are quite potent. I'm actually very concerned. 20 points to Gryffindor, you hit a box.
Cool, so I think we can blast this cobweb as well. So, not only is Harry... How do you do the camera? There we go. Ah! It's a Death Eater! Run! Run!
This world of magical animals, the rat.
Stop hitting the floor! Hit the bloody thing! There we go. There we go. So we get some house points just for doing the job that Filch has paid to do. Perfect.
We haven't done our first class yet, and already we have 35 points. Do you think anybody in the other schools, like, just looking at the hourglass, just slowly feeling like, yeah, we haven't even started yet. How the fuck is Gryffindor so far ahead? Also, nobody else seems to earn any points for Gryffindor in this. I feel like it's just Harry carrying the entire house.
I loved that Jinx block in the movies and in the books.
You remember in the movies where they go to Charms class and Professor Flitwick is like, now children, I want you to hit the charm block with Flipendo. And then Neville Longbottom gets crushed by the long block and the snake never dies in the end. See, this is why we needed to have 7th year Neville Longbottom learn Flipendo rather than 1st year. Because with those abs, he could just, like, bench press the block off himself.
I mean, if it wasn't for Dumbledore's army, there was no chance of him learning Flipendo.
Do you think that's what happened in universe? Neville thought to himself, I'm not very good at magic, so I'm just going to get ripped.
Yeah, I guess it's a good
over
compromise.
the summer, he comes back and he's all jacked.
I think, you know, for all the sort of magical prowess that Neville perhaps lacked, he just made up for in sexiness. So, to be honest, you know, I'm not like, you know, PS1 Ron Weasley or anything, but I would happily make myself sexy with spells. Never mind trying to end the Great Wizarding War Part 2. Oh, speaking of, here's the sex pot himself. Looking like a faulty kettle. And on cross button. No one has ever said that. That is not a thing.
It's a thing now. I'm sorry, did you write Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling put it right there in the first book. Press the X button.
Sorry, I'm not transphobic enough to write Harry Potter.
Press the cross button, Harry. Press the cross button. It's the only way to stop gender reassignment spells. You have to destroy the knowledge in the books. I'm looking this up. And it looks like Stupefy wasn't used until the third book.
Oh.
Because the Harry Potter wiki is kind enough to record all known instances of characters using Stupefy. And there's a gap between Tom Riddle on Morphin Gaunt in the summer of 1943 and Peter Pettigrew doing it to Ron Weasley and Crookshanks in 1994. So I was right, they didn't have Stupefy yet, so therefore they had to make up Flipendo.
There we go, it's fine then.
There we did, I'm justified.
So again, just creative decisions putting Hedwig in a cage in a random corridor. I like that these games have artistic license, but then there's just a case of, right, let's just create our own thing. Before we started this, I was trying to find if J.K. Rowling actually kind of gave her creative license to this game, and I couldn't find anything on the matter, so...
I think she was incredibly involved with this. It's like, what should we have here, J.K.? I think it's important that Hedwig be in a giant cage. Why would the school have this cage in the first place? Wizard did it.
So let's climb up into the cage, which has conveniently got a corridor behind it.
How could Hedwig not escape from that thing if there was already an escape?
Yeah. Because Ron was blocking the way all along. I wouldn't want to fly towards that, would you? Now, that would be the key socially to avoid him for the rest of the school year. If someone's afraid of flapping books, it's either a really dodgy euphemism or they're just Neville. And neither is good. Hello, welcome to the flapping book section of Pornhub. We're pleased to make your acquaintance.
I kind of want to look and see if that's a thing, but at the same time, I'm horrified to learn the consequences.
Just like the books, eh?
Okay, JK, what we were thinking for this scene was, rather than having it be while they're getting dinner, Hedwig just kind of randomly brings the broom to Harry after he's freed her from the owl cage. It's like, yeah, it's canon.
The issue I've got is Ron knows where the flying lesson is, yet he's just arrived at the school himself.
There's a lot of gaps in the logic here.
Mostly Ron's face.
Yeah, that was just kind of filled in by Weasel DNA.
Now, I'm not going to lie, we may not get this house point bonus based on Anthony playing here. We'll see. Maybe I'm just doing myself a discredit. Maybe, probably not.
I have faith in you.
I mean, to be fair, in terms of, likenesses, they've got, Zoe Wanamaker down to a T, really. Or I don't like this flying style. Can we invert flying controls? Because they're really not good.
No, this is How to Fail, the show where the flying controls are never inverted.
There we go.
I told you not to.
It's my Hogwarts experience too, you know.
You just keep... I don't like how insolent you are. Amish would have flown with the controls bad.
Amish would have been in Slytherin.
That's a good point.
See, being a Ravenclaw, I'm happy to socially judge other characters based on their intelligence. Weirdly enough, back in the day when I did Pottermore for about 14 minutes, I was sorted into Gryffindor. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm not courageous at all.
Like, every time I take one of those tests, they always put me in Ravenclaw.
Maybe they just think I'm socially courageous. Just, well done, you've been to house parties and talked to everyone. 10 points.
I mean, I think for me, I would probably still be drawing. So Ravenclaw makes sense.
Get through. There we go. Get through the hope. Titting hell.
Quickly, Superman! Lois Lane's gonna be killed.
No. That was always my favourite thing to do: just fly into Zoe Wanamaker repeatedly. Now it's going no.
Oh.
Fine. Watch this. I've got a great plan. It's called winning. Come on, fly faster. Tits!
You may have a natural talent for this.
Which is why you failed.
Bonus house points for a perfect score.
That ain't gonna happen, love. I'll warn you in advance. I couldn't even do the basic second challenge.
Concentrate and fight the controller.
I like how her hair's just, totally spiky. There's no kind of definition at all other than just spikes. I mean, to be fair, I'd rather, have better definition on her face. You can quite clearly see that is Zoe Wanamaker.
I feel like they gave her hair the detail that they took out of Dumbledore's beard.
They also made Dumbledore curiously Scottish in this game. I don't know why that is, but you know, I like the kind of artistic license. Ooh. This is all I've got to offer to commentary today, by the way. Just
I could see that whole reaction being cool if, like, you flew past her at high speed, but at very slow speed, it just look like you're going, ooh.
I just want to taunt actors from my family. I'm going to actively seek out Robert Lindsay next. A good score, so basically awful.
I don't see how we could lose the House Cup. She's clearly giving us points for losing. You did your best. 5 points to Gryffindor.